I really diversified the cognition toolbox. Because it's my brain, I spend so much time there. Now, where I spend in the beginning, I spent most of my cognition toolbox with deliberate, deliberate self-talk, productive self-dialogue. I had to talk to myself a lot because I was so used to talking to myself, I couldn't just turn it off like a switch. So I used my words to help reinforce my practice. And it was the practice that interrupts the interference, which is internal self-talk all of the time. Donna says in the beginning, she simplified her toolbox. I still do. Yeah, I still do. I think it's very diverse. And I do think that as simple as it is, it will still be different in circumstances that maybe I've never been in. Like I've never been on a cruise ship. Probably will never go on a cruise. It's not my thing. But I don't know. I've never been on the ocean on a huge ship like that. So maybe I would need to go back into that less simplified toolbox and see what I got in there. But on a day-to-day basis, my toolbox, I'm much like Donna. I want it to be very simple because the more simple it is, the more I can remember. My primary external point of attention is a type of vision technique that I do. So from the time that a person wakes up, from a time that a person goes to bed, they are either talking or out loud, or they're talking in their own brain, which we would call internal dialogue, internal monologue, self-talk. That runs 365 days, sometimes for decades, with only moments of interruption. That's the human condition in general. Are there exceptions? Here we are. The word thinking to people can mean a lot of different things, apparently. So I'm being very specific. Internal self-talk, talking to yourself. Sometimes people view imagination as a form of thinking, or like reason and deduction and logic as a form of thinking. My dog can infer. So I put all of that now in cognition. And so the word thinking, the way that I would probably use it casually, Santina, means internal self-talk. It's using the exact same part of your brain that I'm using right now to talk out loud. So I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say, Ernest walked up the mountain. I'm gonna do it in my brain. I did it. And I use the exact same part of my brain as if I say Ernest walked up the mountain. There's a little bit extra that's causing it to come out of my mouth, of course, but the impetus, the area of the brain is exactly the same. So when I say interrupt, I mean interrupt that. That's a form of interference because that's the cognition direction of attention it's way out of balance. So you can also look at these 4 directions as we're looking to balance them because and this is again, this topic is starting to get further down the line, but ultimately we want a balance in those 4 directions. The human being in general, all over the world, the cognition direction of attention is way imbalanced. It is overcharged, it has too much energy, and it's overacting and disrupting all of the other aspects of our life. The stream of internal self-talk, as Donna points out, becomes habitual, it becomes repetitive, and oftentimes it's not even beneficial to the organism to be doing it. And so now it's not logical. It doesn't make sense. It's like,
I didn't believe, I didn't buy that necessarily. I thought I had, until I started practicing. And then I noticed the stream of dialogue because it was such a challenge to interrupt it, um, was evidence to me that it was habitual and repetitive. I wasn't actually choosing to think about um, the dialogue that I had going on in my head, and I hadn't noticed it was habitual and repetitive until I attempted this practice. And I had to do something different with my cognition. It was a challenge because the momentum was so strong, And I recognized just in the process of being aware, where is my mind? And what was I saying to myself? That it was habitual and repetitive. And in just a dialogue, my narration of my life was constant. I was constantly narrating everything, how I felt about it, judging it, labeling, all that stuff. I wasn't aware of it until I started. I wasn't aware that it was habitual and repetitive until I started this practice. So it absolutely interrupted that.
And the reason that I isolated habitual and repetitive is, and then also not making you feel like, we could say feel well, feel inspired, feel better directionally, where is this going? But the reason that works so well is because logically, you cannot tell me why I need to think the same thoughts in the same order all the time, why I need to respond in such a habitual way. How is that benefiting me? Doesn't have it imply that I'm well below the threshold of active recognition and I'm just acting anatomically. I'm just acting based on habit, like my dog does, and like, other life forms do that aren't necessarily self-aware. So yeah, that is where our next topic will go. And I have saved the best for last because it is what makes this practice. Like, you cannot remove redirection, but redirection becomes more tangible if we have a toolbox. Do you see how I'm kind of hopefully trying to put this together logically for somebody? Well, somebody would watch these videos and just get the nuts and bolts. Like, I'm not even trying to, this isn't convincing. Like, I'm not convincing anybody of anything. I'm not trying to campaign. I'm just giving the nuts and bolts of the practice that if you take these elements away, I don't know what you're doing.